All right, welcome to the this is the August 5th special board meeting of the Canfield Board of Education. With a little luck, we might make this our last remote meeting. Hopefully from now on we're in person again, I'm hoping. With that, Patty, can you give us a roll call, please?
Mr. Wilkerson, President.
Here.
Mrs. DeCapua, Vice President. Here. Mr. Atway.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mrs. Klucher.
Here.
Okay, here we're gonna say the pledge. I've got a flag. I guess, does it look right to you guys? That's the right direction.
Turn it around.
The other way.
Huh? Do I need it the other way?
That's right.
Okay, because I can't see it because I'm reversed. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's a little bit tricky to hold the flag and say the pledge at the same time.
You did well.
Thank you. Patty, treasurer's
Yes.
report that we did not get at the last meeting.
Okay, so these are after 12 months fiscal year 20, the year-end reports. The cash summary report, the first report, just like to comment on the fund balance for general fund, $16,089,000. Last October on the 5-year forecast before all the strangeness, we had forecasted $16,126,000 as the fund balance. So I was really pleased that we were as close to that forecast, even though a lot of line items were very different. We had more expenses in, areas that we didn't think, and then we had less operational expenses. So in the end, we were actually pretty close to that cash balance. And that's actually before we made the amendment to the general fund appropriations. We really wouldn't have needed to make that. So I was pleased with the end result there. The rest, as you can see, we have very few encumbrances, just the PI fund as things were cleaned up for year end. The next report, the check or the appropriation report. So I ran this prior to me asking for that extra $100,000 appropriation amendment at year end. Really didn't need that, as I said. So bottom line, we were at 99.4% we spent of what we appropriated last year. So considering everything that went on, pleased with that also.
Now, just for the record, I need to say this. With everything that happened this year, guys, you need to understand that is an amazing job by your treasurer. Just amazing. What was that, 0.6? 0.6 off, right?
Yes.
Out of that 16-some million dollars. I mean, that is very impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patty.
Good
Yep.
job, Patty.
Nice job,
Out of,
Patty.
out of 28 million, Joe, not 16.
That's true. That's true. Yep.
Hey, Patty, can I ask you something real quick?
So moving on, thank you very
Wait,
much.
Patty, hang on.
Can I-
She's real quiet.
Am I still really quiet? I'm sorry, Patty. I wanted to ask you, before year end in June, did we encumber any significant like COVID expenses? Like as in, I know we had to do masks and sanitizer and things like that, but were there any heavy duty expenses figured in there? Or is that
All
all
that-
pretty much going to be on next year's budget?
They're all going to be next year because, they're all going to be next year. We could have spent some of the CARES Act money that we had, but I did not do that. It's all going to be posted in this fiscal year 21.
Well, that's good because then we'll have the plan and everything. That's good.
And it's kind of craziness right now, but we're getting it done.
You're awesome.
I really didn't have any comments on any of the other reports except maybe the purchase order register. It's just one page, as those were just the carryover encumbrances, and most of those had to relate or related with the track project that was ongoing. So we really did clean up a lot of things there at year end. So if there's no other questions, just need a motion to approve the reports. And sorry, I didn't have them for you last meeting.
Jenny Kluchar would like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's reports as presented.
Nader will second.
Thanks, Nader. Second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
yes,
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Knoll, on to hiring.
Okay, so after following all of our legal requirements, I'd like to make a recommendation for the following personnel hiring our licensed staff: Stacy Madison, math teacher, and Regina Reynolds, or school nurse.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the retiree hire of Mr. Madison and Mrs. Reynolds effective September 1st, please?
Campbell makes the motion to hire the retiree hire Stacy Madison, as well as Regina Reynolds for the 2020-2021 school year.
Capua seconds,
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
yes,
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes. Mr. Knoll, on to reassignments.
Yeah,
transfers.
so no vote needed here, but just for your information, those 4 individuals being reassigned or transferred around the district, those folks as presented there for you. Would like to make a motion to approve the hiring of our extracurricular staff members, those folks as presented in Exhibit 2.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the hiring of the extracurriculars listed in Exhibit 2?
Nader will make the motion to extend the hiring as presented for extracurriculars in Exhibit 2.
Campbell
So that's-
seconds.
Campbell seconded. Any discussion of that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
yes,
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to also recommend a motion to adopt the policies 5200 with attendance and policy 8450.01 regarding the protective facial coverings during a pandemic. And those are all in exhibit number 3.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the adoption of policy 5200? So that's a revised attendance policy, and 8450.01, which is to cover the masks, and that one is new,
Mhm.
all listed in Exhibit 3.
Jenny Kluchar will make a motion to adopt the 2 policies as recommended by the superintendent.
DeCapua seconds.
Any discussion?
So this is, oh.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mr. Knoll, I asked you about this yesterday. With the language in these, we have some like colors and strikeouts and things because they're in draft mode. If we approve them, the final policies that go on the website won't be in draft mode, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
And these are in, right, I mean, the face mask policy, it seems like it's in with what the governor just mandated as of yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the governor really kind of limited the exceptions down for us, to be honest with you. So I guess at the end of the day, I mean, I would say the governor's, kind of requirements really take a lot of the medical reasons out that we have in our policy, which I'm okay with, to be honest with you. If and when the government or the governor's thing would go away, we still have a board policy that we can kind of fall back to as well. So I think we're in a good place, actually, going into the school year with the facial coverings.
And so that's the question that I think that was asked, and I'll ask for clarity just because. So we'll follow the governor's mandate, but if he was to ever lift that, we can then revert to this because it's our own policy and apply our own policy.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
And I like it too, because it's like a step down policy. It's not quite as strict as what the governor has, but it's still something that we'll have in place for safety. So I really am glad about that.
Yeah. And then the other attendance policy towards the back, really the additional part talks about the remote learning piece, which is timely, obviously here. So, this would come into play if we have to go to our emergency remote police, but also covers our Cardinal Digital Academy as well. So that language in there is timely as well to help us move forward with the school year.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that it covers like technical malfunctions and things like that. So parents will know what to do if they lose power at home or something like that. And they can put that, the note to school with the proper.
Definitely.
Any other discussion on that? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend a motion to approve the employment separation agreement, which is exhibit number 4.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the separation agreement shown in exhibit number 4?
DeCapua moves to approve the employment separation as seen in Exhibit 4.
Campbell seconds.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend a motion to approve a revised school calendar, which is found in exhibit number 5.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the revised school calendar shown in exhibit number 5?
Nader will make the motion to approve the revised school calendar as presented in Exhibit 5.
Campbell seconds.
Okay, so the big change here is the start of school, which is now September 8th for students.
I do have one question on this, just for my own sanity, because I know people are going to ask. So when I looked at the old calendar versus the new, nothing has changed except the start date. So am I to assume that the reason this was able to exist is because we allocate for extra days of school instruction, and that's how we can just keep everything as is? Or correct me if I'm wrong, because when I looked at them both, everything seemed to be the same other than the start date. So how do we shave off 4 days on the school calendar?
We are hours. We are a number of hours that we come to school. Okay.
So we've allocated enough.
Yep. So most districts are way over that. To be honest with you, Canfield being another one.
Okay.
The main rationale for me is, I want to get this school year off to a good start, and our teachers are working like crazy this summer, but we're going to use those additional days with our teachers to really get into this Google Classroom, Google Meet, and get prepared, for if and when this emergency remote learning comes, and just to make sure we're ready, make sure we have our mitigating equipment here as well and in place and ready to go. So I think as a district and I made this point pretty clear, if we're not going to bring kids to school, we better be doing some meaningful things here as a district. And we're going to have some good things ready to roll for our staff those days. So I hope our parents and community understand the rationale for making that move. But I think at the end of the day, it's what's best for Canfield.
So to clarify, as opposed to last year, when we started back in August, we did like the 2 days on for testing. So that's all by the wayside?
No, our building principals are looking at what this could be with that September 8th starting date. So we're working on doing some of those things. I think
Okay.
with reassessments, right, with some of our kiddos and bringing them in and doing that. I've asked them, we had a meeting yesterday and I said, based on the board's decision today, if that gets approved, come back to me next Wednesday, actually, with a plan on what that's going to look like.
Okay.
So some of the concerns were like, we didn't have like a freshman orientation,
Right.
we didn't have a 4th to 5th grade orientation. So our groups that are meeting with the principals want to talk that through a little bit. So it might not be everybody here on the 8th, I guess is what I'm saying. There might be like a small roll in of kids at the
Okay.
different levels. So, but that information is being talked about and worked on, and we're going to communicate that like crazy to our parents.
Okay.
They know what's going on with that.
Well, we probably need to communicate the fact that 8th may not be a start date for every student too, because I know that there's always concerns about childcare and so forth. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have a little one that falls in that testing category, K-2.
Right. Yeah. I'll kind of lead into tomorrow night. I mean, tomorrow night's kind of our big rollout. So I had that prepared, and I'll check with our building principals today, even just to see if I can get a better feel on kind of what they're planning on doing. Probably with just those first 4 days of that week, to be honest with you.
yeah, well, and it probably is mostly affecting the little ones, which is also probably the biggest issue for childcare. So.
Hey, Joe, how do you feel? How's the timeline going with getting the buildings ready and, the protective measures, being put in place? We feel like we're on track with that. I know we still have some time. It's August 5th, but
Well,
actually,
actually,
you have enough help with all that?
yeah, we had some good phone calls today. Our temperature, the imaging systems are actually going to arrive next week, which is a blessing, and we're going to get trained on them. I think Mr. Tullio had a August 24th date for some of our other protective equipment to come in, those shields. I know John's been working real hard on getting cleaning equipment here. Obviously I'm hoping and praying everything's here day one, but just to answer your question, thus far, we're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Along with our custodians getting rooms ready. Our principals have set up the classrooms, on what they're going to look like for our kids as well. So going into today, I feel good, but I'll feel a lot better when all hands are on deck here and we're ready to roll.
Yeah, that's another good reason to push things back, more time to get ready of the physical structure.
Yeah, it is. Made me help me sleep better at night a little bit too. So.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on the school calendar? I know this is, and this is going to be posted on the website soon today, because this has been a hot topic.
Well, as soon as this meeting's over and you bless it, I want to make the call to get it put on for us. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And will you, because I just know this thing gets printed out all over the place. Can you put something about that September, I don't even know how to phrase it, but that September 8th date that we may have testing that week? Because I mean, Joe, I mean, John and Patty know this. I mean, that whole testing thing has always been, it's kind of new to the district, and it's always been kind of confusing to some parents just because it's so new. So if we're going to put that in there, which it sounds like we are, I think they do need to understand that on this.
Well, would it be better for me to get some clarification from our building principals then, maybe on what we're planning before I put
Before you publish it?
That'd be
Yeah.
better?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me try to talk to all those guys today, and I'll have something to talk about a little bit better tomorrow, and then update the calendar and get that on. Because I appreciate that. I mean, I'm still kind of learning what those testing things have been in the past as well. I want to make sure I got a good understanding of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's only, what have we, John, we maybe 2 years we've been doing that, or 3?
Yes.
2?
2.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's new to everybody. And it's being tweaked. And so This just kind of throws a wrench into things for parents, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. DeCapua,
Yes.
Mrs. Klucher,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkerson.
Yes.
And then under superintendent's report, I guess just a big item is tomorrow night's our big presentation over at the high school. Will be in the auditorium for those community members that want to come. There'll be some limited seating there, but you're welcome, or you can catch us online, kind of like our board meetings here, but we'll be talking about the restart plans, going to start at 6 o'clock. I'll have just like a little PowerPoint presentation kind of summarizing our game plan moving forward with what I call the all-in plan. 5 days a week, all our kids here ready to go, and have a few visual items to show our community as well. Some of the things that Mr. Campbell asked about earlier. So we're excited about getting that rolled out tomorrow night.
Good. We're looking forward to it for sure. Who all? I'm going to that. Who all's going? Just out of curiosity.
I'm planning on going.
I'm gonna try to go to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else before we wrap? Does anybody else have anything else for the good of the cause?
This
And
can't be possible.
Thanks for all your hard work. Joe, John, Patty, everybody. Because I know
Thank
it's
you.
it's a very stressful time. I mean, I'm sure Jenny can relate. You know, I know we're doing that over here at the Career Center. It's, you know,
I'm
there's a lot of, I feel like, you know,
Yeah,
we're
we're ready.
juggling. It's a circus almost, you know.
Moving
We're
parts.
doing what's best for kids and getting a lot of input. I think we got a ton of data. So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Nader,
you
what
very
were you
much.
gonna say?
I was just gonna say, this can't be possible that this meeting is potentially gonna be over in less than 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to mark this in the history books.
Yeah.
Thank you,
yeah,
Mr. Knoll.
Well,
yeah.
let the record reflect.
Does that mean we're gonna have a marathon on the 19th?
No.
No, no.
Because
Well,
I
that-
remember in your update, there were a few things we haven't discussed yet, so.
We have a few things waiting on you. We do.
Well, thank you very much.
We'll be okay.
Good things to come.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Nader will make the motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
27 minutes, Nader. All in
Impressive.
favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank